Welcome back to the Ramblers of the Round Table podcast. The digital table, where we pull up a chair and dive deep into the rabbit holes of the unexplained. This is the space for seekers, the curious, and anyone ready to explore the intersection of human experience and the high strangeness of our world. Introducing our special guest. He is a public figure, ex-cop and firefighter, currently a movie actor and a true navigator of reality. Blazing through life like a 1967 Chevy muscle car on nitrous, unstoppable and full of raw power. Here today to share some of his wisdom, knowledge, and insights while having some fun with your hosts Scott Nichols and Brett Smiler. Please welcome back for a ramble, Glenn E. Mate of Divine Phoenix Healing and the Stargate Crusader podcast. Now pull up your chairs, Ramblers, and let's get ready to ramble. Be sure to like and subscribe to our tribe first.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah!
That was great, right? Welcome to Ramblers of the Round Table podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Scott Nichols, and I'm going to pass it to my brother over in Scotland.
Well, welcome, everybody. That was a banging intro. I love that. And we're welcome back and a beautiful, amazing being called Glenn E. Mate. So I'm going to pass it straight to you, Glenn. Introduce yourself, and then we've got a little idea how to start. We've got someone knocking at the door, my friend.
Hello, good day, my fellow people, from those who are across the pond, and also those of you watching in the Americas. You know, as as you said, I am an actor. I was propelled into this acting field a little over 2 years ago, but I have spent my life in the fire service and emergency services, starting off as a cop, going to a firefighter, and then moving to highly technicalized rescue stuff that when we have large scale disasters, that was my very passion and specialty. And as my life just kind of propelled me from place to place, to thing, I have always been spiritually active in spirituality, metaphysics, and psionics. So I have this unique ability to channel and to be highly intuitive and to learn how to manipulate energy. So I've been doing these crazy things all amalgamated into one. And it's just been a very unique life that is different, but I still consider myself just a normal human being. No different from anybody else. And I don't consider myself special or have these special abilities because we all have them. And it's a matter of just unlocking those abilities and what are we willing not to achieve, not to acquire, but what are we willing to give up in order to accept the truth of who we really are? So I'll open with that.
That was beautiful. And yeah, we also want to open up. Do you have any other channeling that came through? Is there anything knocking at your door that you want to get off your mind too? Because I know you've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. So, I channel pretty regularly two unique entities. One is called the Palladian Council of Nine, which are an amalgamation of one voice that comes through as 9 different beings. And obviously they come from the Pleiades star system, from the star of Alcyone. I also channel a group called the Collective of American Native Indian Chiefs. So if you think of all of North America and all of the indigenous tribes and their leaders, collectively, that also comes in one voice. And that is a very grounded, very ethereal type channeling that comes over for me. But, as I was kind of preparing for this podcast today, I often, go outside. I have my bare feet situated on the ground. I allow sun and the wind and to just become one with the earth. And of course, this is when the messages start to come through. And there's some things that they wanted to share. So if you give me like just a second or two just to get into it, I will channel some of this information because I think it's important for this day and age. So we good with that, gentlemen and ramblers?
Most definitely. We always love you to
Sweet.
guide us. Let's do one.
We most graciously thank you for this opportunity to communicate, to collaborate, to exchange information and energies and ideas with you today. One of the things that we would like to share with you is your current events. For in your social media, your mainstream media news, there are many messages. We would like to say that many of these messages should be not considered as traumatic or upsetting or something that would necessarily be negative, but we would like you to change your awareness to paying attention to what emotions that these evoke. For these particular occurrences that are happening in your current events on your planet today are informational messages to you as a mirror. This mirror should show you what your emotional state is or something that you may need to address. The reason why these events are coming up is because the Earth's frequency is changing. This change presents a choice point to you. This choice point is, would you like to ascend to the higher dimensional reality, which will be of fourth density? And in this fourth density, manifestation will come easier. There will be less severity of polarity. And overall, most likely an easier life to live as a human being on the planet. Or your choice point could be to stay in third density, to hold on to the dense experiences that one human being would go through, as many of you have already made some achievements going through these experiences. And it is much more difficult. We see that the timeline of the third density, that the planet at some point will most likely snuff itself out into an existence of non-existence. It is the last cycle that is playing out. These cycles have happened over and over in 75,000 year cycles of experience. It has been written, it has been known, and the information has also been hidden that these cycles are coming to an end. And the less, we should say, more negative, rather, sides of this is trying to hold on to their control. And we see that this cannot happen. It will continue to burn itself out. And that is what is occurring right now. But do not take all of these current events to heart. Do not take them personally. For many of you are looking from them of the outside looking in. And within this, again, we suggest that you take stock in what emotions are bubbling up. What needs to be addressed? What can you let go of or ascend or transcend? Meaning, what can you take that's negative and turn into a positive? And do it in the respect of service to self. Now, that might sound very unusual, but when we serve ourselves, we also serve the collective. The service to self is taking stock, taking responsibility for the way that you feel, and then creating another perspective that is more preferable. something that works better in your existence, in your life. These are the choices that are coming and that are here presently in your universe, in your earth, in your current change of dimension. So we offer you this information and a starting place to create your conversations. We hope that this has served you well and that it gives you another perspective to choose from. In love and light.
Thank you so much for that message. That was very powerful because that is a lot of things that have been coming up and people have been reaching out and talking to us about is this changing of frequency, this changing of the density of the world, being able to, that they're wondering, why am I having these experiences? And so they're asking, what's happening? Am I the only one having these experiences? And so it's awesome to have people like you to be able to come out and to explain to people, no, you're not the only one that is having these experiences. So yeah, thank you so much for doing
Right.
that too. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I just want to, was that the Council of Nine you were channeling then, you was connecting with, Glenn?
That
So I
was
just
the
want to give some,
council.
I want to give some gratitude. I believe, I thought it was, I felt it was. And yeah, a lot of relevant stuff come out there. Definitely resonated with me personally. And yeah, I think we are moving into a higher density. And I would agree. A lot of people do think it's 5D or fifth dimension. I would believe it's fourth density. And certain things come along with this, as these frequencies change. And at the minute, it is a little chaotic. And like you say, sometimes it is like we are observing this, or certainly the council said this, we're observing from the outside. And sometimes people can take it very personally. And like you say, they said it's a mirror. Love it. It is. It's a mirror. So you can learn about yourself with that. And I also agree with the self-work. Some people might think, oh, that's selfish. Actually, it's not. To work on yourself and to correct your field and to shift into your affects every field around you. It's quantumly entangled. It affects things certain distances we can't even imagine, So I just love that. And I just wanted to give some gratitude to yourself for channeling that and the council, because that was very good. And I love that, man. So hopefully maybe we can get a bit more of that through the podcast.
Yeah, one of the other things that has been coming through is what's happening between the sun and our planet Earth, right? So we are hearing about these solar flares that are coming out, and they're constantly changing the Schumann resonance, right? And the Schumann resonance at 7.83 hertz is the resonance of the planet. And for those that may not understand what the Schumann resonance, it's the magnetosphere that covers our planet that keeps, everything in balance. And we as human beings are electrical human beings, and our resonance, so our frequency, like our broadband, matches with the planet. So when the sun gives its solar flares, think of it as like a burst of information traveling through the cosmos, and then it hits us, the human being, and the planet, and it shakes things up, right? Because it's such a high intensity of energy. And this is happening more and more and more. Well, these are opportunities for us to, again, take a look at some of the things that have been maybe deep seated in our life, maybe traumatic experiences that we had as children or young adults, and even going back further as things that we have carried culturally through our existence. This gives us an opportunity to look at these particular things, these emotional upheavals, and say, do I really want to carry this forward with me? Is this really serving of me? When I hear this information or someone talks or a family member kind of comes at me, what does that mean? What am I carrying with me today that's really not serving? Because we know that it's time to shed. And we came here to inhabit a human life as a spiritual being, to expand who we are, but also to shed all of the things, because we know that this grand transition is taking place. So, when we get these crazy weather patterns, we get these, you know, uh, we're getting earthquakes, we have volcanoes becoming reactive, we have all types of, unusual weather patterns that are happening across the planet, and the flow of water in our oceans is changing, and the temperatures obviously changing as well. How are we allowing all of those things to affect, and what emotions are they bringing up that we could readdress?
Um, in what ways can frequencies help us heal and shift our state?
So, we are frequency beings, right? If we think about ourselves as an electrical being, we have an oscillation. And everyone on this planet has a unique frequency to themselves. And we also have a collective frequency, as like this is our human bandwidth, right? So we could use different types of frequency to help rid ourselves of, you know, physical ailments, mental ailments, psychological ailments, by all different things. Now, we know that music has a positive effect on us, and it can also have a negative effect on us, depending on our choice of vibration, right? So if we're listening to, that headbanging, ba 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 hard, ah, that music has a dramatic effect on who we are. And also when we listen to something that is soothing, something that is more harmonic or has a melody in it, those frequencies of those notes, that compilation has more of a healing effect on us. Now, we can also change our vibration and our frequency by manipulating our emotions. And, when you're in a bad mood or something goes wrong and you have this bad feeling, or somebody said something to you, or you just got cut off by someone who cut in front of you on the road, well, you're going through an emotional process. And those lower emotions have a lower frequency. So, how do you shift out of those lower emotions into a higher frequential state to have a benefit? So, if we're, angry and we're allowing all of these current events to absorb who we are, and we become so immersed in the negative narrative, and we adopt that as our belief system, like this particular party is the only right party, I don't care what the other party's doing, they're always wrong, they're bad. We need to look and examine those things because they carry an emotional frequency to them, right? So if we learn how to shift out of that lower frequency, our health gets better, our mental status gets better, our happiness meter starts to go up. So the key is shifting, learning how to shift. And everybody can shift out of these. So it's again, it's a choice point. Do I really want to stay mad at this particular leader of politics because he said this? Does that really matter in my every day-to-day life? Or does my every day-to-day life matter on my openness, my willingness to accept other information and not allow it to permeate who I am as a human being, but to express joy and love and creation and harmony and all of the higher elements, and gratitude is right up on the very top. That's the cherry. So can we go to gratitude and be thankful for something rather than being negative? And we can even take that negative and turn it into a positive. Like we can take that, oh, that just got me upset with that particular political leader just said. Well, if I examine myself, why did I get upset with that? Oh, I have something that's kind of stuck in me that maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I've been separated from other people. Maybe there's something in that I need to look at. Well, if I look at that and say, well, that's not really true. I am a worthy person, and everybody on this planet is definitely a worthy person They're a loving human being. Even if you see something, that's only the lens that you're looking through in that particular snapshot of time.
Yeah, that's
We are
self-reflection.
truly
Most definitely, brother.
right.
Yeah.
So we can take that negative and turn it into a positive as a self-examination learning moment. And then it gives me a choice. Do I want A, B, C, or D? Or is there something even better that I can choose from?
And exactly how, yeah, I love that because that goes back to, you're talking about channeling the elders. And that goes back to my Native American history too. You have paths, exactly. They talk about it the exact same way too. You have there's rivers. You're going to see a really rough river. You're going to see a smooth river. You're going to have to make these choices, like Glenn's talking about. You have to make these choices and self reflect in life too. Because what Glenn's saying is beautiful. Like, if people listen to, exactly like your frequencies, you're sending out these frequencies right now that are positive and telling these people, look back. Don't just look at the positive or negative towards a group or an affiliation or something, or you said like a government leader or something. Why are you putting all of everything into that? You should be self-reflecting because something inside might be bothering. I mean, Glenn is totally on to something. I mean, yeah, that's beautiful. You and our good friend Emery Smith have been
Mm,
doing stuff. So you actually have a mind stimulator. And this, could help people out. And I think you should, give a little explanation on that. And Emery's, he's healing people. He's really trying. And you guys are pushing that too. I thought that'd be a good, little thing you should throw out there right now.
absolutely. I so very much love my brother, Emery Smith. And everybody sees him as, this whistleblower, cosmic disclosure host. And that's like this much of Emery Smith. Emery Smith is such a loving and generous human being. His personality when he's not in the eyes of the camera, he's a goofball. He's actually quite hilarious. He's a very funny human being and always making jokes. But he's also this wonderful scientific individual who has this beautiful mind that encompasses helping humanity in so many different ways. Now, Emery's background, of course, is in medicine. That's how, when he came through the military, he was a medic in the Air Force, and that's how he kind of transitioned into some of those black budget projects that went on and are continuing to go on, but grabbed, a plethora of knowledge and experience and just ran with it. Combining that great human nature and the attitude of servitude and all of his knowledge and just amalgamated and created this alchemical experience and these different uh you know healing, I don't want to say potions, but they're healing fluids that are made from the fourth state of matter, which is plasma. So we're using high technology combined with just a high vibration again of things. When you pick up something from nature, it has a vibratory frequency. So I'm kind of going to segue into this. So our crystals all have measurable and detectable frequencies, right? So we know that the frequency of a diamond is this. We know that the frequency of amethyst is this. We know that the frequency of quartz crystals is this. So when we take our fluids and we pass through, we know that water holds all of these high levels of frequency. It becomes the carrier, right? So water is actually the carrier of more information than anything else. So when we take, these processes and we bring, you know, the fluids, the water right through all of these special chemicals and not, I don't want to say chemicals, but special minerals, uh, we're creating a highly frequential fluid. Now, one of the things that I came to with Emery was like, Emery, is there something that we can create together that will increase our level of brainwave? So the brainwave that we're talking about right now, that we are all on, all three of us, is we're in a beta brainwave state right now. And when we go into higher levels of brainwave, so we go, into that alpha and theta, gamma, lambda, higher, that gives us deeper access. So when we want to try to get into our highly meditative state, that's a theta brainwave state. So I said, Emery, is there something that we can do to kind of create a quick reactive type fluid that has a resemblance to Narcan? So when we come amongst a patient that is suffering from a drug overdose, we give them nasal Narcan. And in a couple of seconds to about a minute, boom, they're out of it. It has a quick reaction. So I said, can we take this concept? And Emery in his mind is like, oh yeah, it's like, let me do this, do this, do this, do this, and pull this together. And, give me a couple days and sure enough, he came out with this great thing, and we birthed the name of Cosmic Stimulator. So it is a nasal spray, and when you spray the atomized solution into the viscous mucous membrane, it creates a resonance field. It is hypoallergenic. We're protecting you from 5G and 6G, and it starts to stimulate through the field that it's created on a higher resonance, that higher brainwave state. So it gives you the opportunity to be in that theta brainwave state, to work with your intention, whether it be remote viewing, astral projection, uh, deeper psionics, dream recall, or a higher level of cognition. So, that is its all intended purposes, and it has more benefits than that. And you could go to my website at divinephoenixhealing.org and go to the products, and you'll see, how the elements that we list is in there, and the benefits. And it's, let me just grab a bottle here because I got one on my side. It comes in this 30 millimeter bottle. So beautiful pink, and it has this wonderful rose fragrance infused in it. So we also know the power of rose water. Well, that's also infused in this cosmic stimulator.
And I actually have some of that, and I've used it. And Jackie used it during right before we meditate. Not right before. I let it kick in a little bit, but then during my meditative states, I found that I go into that meditative state a lot faster too. So yeah, and then also I know that we all have seen Emery's nanos and how they heal you, and like you had said, they protect you from that 5G. That's super important, especially nowadays with that just flying through the air. You definitely want to protect yourself
Mm-hmm.
that way too. But yeah, Brett, do you have anything you want to throw into the mix here?
Yeah, I haven't actually tried the product, but it sounds right up my street. And certainly, I think with adding frequencies to water, and what Glenn's saying about water is 100% correct. You can see that with water when you add freezing process to a droplet, you get a snowflake effect, which shows the infinite potential of water and the information it can store. So when you do add frequencies, certain minerals, even the flow and energize the water can create beautiful effects on us. Of course, we're 80% water, so it makes 100% sense. But I've obviously tried the nanos. They were good. I found them very effective. My dad had a side effect from the vaccine. He tried them as well. He found them quite effective, and definitely, I've seen a change in him since he took them. So, yeah, I would certainly say to people to try it. Especially if you have health problems or you're in an area built up and there's high waves. I'm quite blessed because we live in the Galloway National Park. We don't even have fiber optics. That's how out in the sticks we are. But if you're in the cities, this stuff certainly could help protect you. And there you go. There it is.
Yeah. So if you go to
that was the nano blue.
EmeryStarLabs.com, that's where you could find Emery's products.
And this is
and I'm the only distributor of the
I
cosmic
agree.
stimulator. So I use, Emery's products every day. It's a part of my routine. And, when you get into this maintenance phase, you don't need a lot of product to get the results. Between 5 and 10 milliliters a day is plenty for us as human beings. Once you get into that maintenance phase, I it's the right way to live if, it fits your budget, or, if it's something that you want to work on yourself for healing. Again, you're taking the frequencies and you're infusing them into your cellular structure. So in a matter of time, the frequencies in your body will start to up level, right? So that makes you the healthier human being. And think of it naturally how it happens. So, if you take a river that is flowing through all of the rocks and minerals that are, you know, in the embedded, part of the river, well, there's all kinds of things. There's iron, there's all kinds of minerals and gems and trace minerals, and they're all being taken right by the water. So that movement of the water is infusing. So water from a river naturally, you can't get much better than that. And, where Scott is, it's, let's go down to the headwaters.
Most
Let's
definitely. I
grab a
was
couple of
about to mention
bottles
that. Yep. I've gotten that water
and,
so many
and
times. Jackie, anytime I'm working up that way, she goes, make sure you stop by there, empty your water bottles and fill them up for me. I always have to bring it home for her. And that kind of brings us into, I had a question for you too. How does our emotional states affect manifestation?
well, you think you can manifest the best things that you want in your life if you're an angry person, right? So if you're constantly down on yourself, if you're harboring negative attitudes all the time, then your vibration is low. So the only thing you can do is manifest to that lowest vibration, or to the highest vibration that you have, which is already low. So you can't get past that point until you start to lose all of the lower layers of the onion, right? We can't get to the core of that onion if there's still so many negative layers that are surrounding it. So manifestation works really, really well for those who follow the path of self evaluation, self reflection, and then use that tool as, what changes do I need to make? Right. So if I'm harboring feelings against someone or something or some situation that is affecting me, then I need to examine why am I feeling that way? Why am I angry amongst this person? Is it because I have jealousy? Is it because I don't think I'm really truly worthy of that? Is it because there's some self-doubt? Is it because I think the world is all against me? And we need to examine those. And sometimes it could be all of them, right? And that requires the really reflective periods in your life that you need to stop and take some time. It can't be, oh, I'm just going to change my thought on that, because belief systems are rooted like a dandelion. The dandelion has a very extensive root, and then it's got all these little feeder roots that tap off that main root, and it goes deep into the ground. So even if you snap it off it and take, the top of the dandelion off, well, it's going to come back because the root is still intact. And we need to dig deeper within ourselves to say, okay, have I done the very best to unearth this particular belief system, this thought that I hold, this paradigm, this cultural norm that I'm using? And sometimes it serves me in a negative way. Like, I know I got to change it, but I'm not going to change it because if I let this go, then I don't know what's going to happen. Well, you're just addicted to the negative belief that's not serving you. And that happens sometimes. So only through that self-reflection does it give us the opportunity to start to really find the deepest place where that is existing and start to change it, to work in it. How can I change my belief system? Well, we have to first look, is it really serving me? Is it really doing something for me that is creating a positive action, notion, feeling, emotion in my life? And 99% of the time, it's not. And that's kind of what holds us back from manifestation. You could have all of these grand, you know, picture boards and vision boards and have all of this great stuff in front of you. And you could read 1,000 books, but if it doesn't change your belief system, you're still the same person that you were. You just have more knowledge, but you're not putting it to use. So we really have to change. We have to really change who we are. So we've got to change the way that we think. If we change the way that we think, that changes the way that we feel. If we change the way that we feel, that means that's an outward expression of our actions. That outward expression of our actions then changes the reality that we live in, because our reality is based on a projection of how we think, how we feel, and how we act.
Exactly. And if we just, that leads into two, if we just talk about things, um, you're not, you've manifested your thought, but you've not done anything for that manifestation to help your own self. You need to learn, a lot of people need to step up and do, like Glenn. Glenn stepped up and did. Now look at him. This is what is going to lead us into the next part right here, is how we wanted to talk about how Glenn has manifested. He's a movie actor. He actually has done producing. I mean, he's manifested in his dreams. Same thing for Brett and I. We've manifested. One day, Brett came to me, said, "Let's do a podcast, brother." And we've manifested. We've came from doing this on our phones with each other. It was great, everybody. I mean, Brett and I are on Facebook trying to do lives just because we wanted to do that first step. Because if you don't take that first step, you'll never know what happens. And then look at us now. We're sitting here talking to everybody. We're talking to a great person, Glenn. And then Brett and I get to have fun with each other all the time and meet wonderful people like Glenn and all of our other guests that have came out. It's that first step. That's manifestation too. You're taking that first step and not, putting that ego in the way. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'll look funny. Who cares? We're sending a message. The message is what matters. And if you're willing and your heart is set on doing something, manifest that doing too. Go do it. Look at Glenn, and let's slide into that really quick. Glenn.
Can I just add a little bit to that,
Hell yeah, you
Scotty?
can. Yeah, we've been waiting.
I think manifestation is an important subject to a lot of people, and I love what you're both saying. And I mean, when I look at it, exactly what you're saying, it's resonance. One is resonance. You can go out and when you have a thought, that puts out a wave, and it does make ripples into it, but it has to build up into probabilities. This is exactly what you're saying. It's like Glenn's giving the resonance side, you're giving the probability side. And it is if you can sit there all day long, like Glenn said, you can look at these, write things down, you can read every book. But if you're resonating, I must work hard, or I must be in survival state, the universe is going to mirror this back to you. And what you're saying, Scott, is you can build up the probabilities. By building that. So there's infinite potential in front of us. Everything is existing. For me, on my personal, there's different versions of me out there that all exist and all at once. How do I become into that? It's resonance and it's probabilities, So I just wanted to add that because I just love what you both said. And I was itching at the teeth to say that before we move to the next stage. So cheers.
No, that was great. Yeah. Yeah. It's great when you chime in, because that's what, the podcasts are all about, is drawing those emotions out of each other, drawing those emotions out of you guys listening. I mean, we're hoping to find that one little spark of, even if it was listening to Glenn telling you can do it, listening to me telling you can do it, listening to Brett right there saying you can do this if you do it. And I mean, even if we give you that one little spark, we're so happy to be here to give that one person that spark. That's what we're here for. I mean, it's like that's our calling as well. And Glenn's calling. I just want to dive into this because I like to call him Hollywood because he is doing movies. I mean, how special is that, Hollywood? Tell them about your Hollywood, Hollywood. Let us know about some of your movies and you
Sure.
got going now. Anything special?
Yeah, it's been an awesome ride. And, I am so grateful for the opportunities that have come forth. I've, to date, I've got about 25 movie appearances in under my belt. So even if you go to my IMDb, you'll see there's probably about 15 projects that are listed. Right now, there are still many that are in post production, meaning that they're going through editing, sound, color modifications, final scene manipulations and stuff like that. So, it is a process. But, how did this come into manifestation? Well, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And I never said in my lifetime that I wanted to be an actor or that I wanted to be famous. But what I did say is I wanted to change the world. And I've had a couple opportunities in my lifetime to do that. One was, as a career firefighter, always in service, helping to change the world for the better, serving people. And I also was writing standards for the fire service, and not just like my local community. I wrote the standards on technical rescue and certain technical rescue equipment for the entire fire service in North America. So that's going from Mexico all the way up to Canada, side to side, coast to coast. And lots of the stuff that I wrote and worked on has been adopted by the European EIN standards, which, my work still affects my brother across the pond and all of them. So, I started to say, oh, wow, what I did affected, 4.3 million firefighters just in North America alone. And I don't even know how far it reaches because, whatever we do has a ripple effect. So just by writing, safety language and different things and technical language and operative language, how does that affect the person being rescued? We don't even think of that into the equation. But I'm like, wow, I had that impact on that many people. How amazing is that? I said, I want to change the world again. I want to do it again. And I don't know how that is going to work out, but I know that somehow, some way, I can again influence the world for a better way, a better perspective, somehow, some way. And I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that's what I want. Can I make a positive effect on probably 8, 9 billion people on our planet? So one day I got a phone call from a friend. He's like, "Hey, I got this movie, this short little movie going on. Would you want to be an extra in it? There's a bunch of people from town coming in." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. I've never done that. I have no idea." And gave me, dress this way, wear this, da da da. And then we're on set and I'm watching everything go on. I'm like, wow, that's pretty fascinating how much really goes into the creation of a movie. He's like, "Do you want some lines?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, what do I gotta do? I'm just open to it." And, I became this first character in a short little movie. It's only about 21 minutes long, but it sparked something. I'm like, wow, I really enjoy the process of being involved in making movies. Like, when you see a movie on screen and there's so much that goes into it, there's so many people that are involved in to create, a cinematography experience, whether it be, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or 2 or 3 hours. There's a lot that goes into it to create that, involvement. And I've learned that the more projects that have this emotional involvement are the ones that I was really drawn to. So I started like, okay, maybe I'll just maybe I'll just put my name in the hat and see what happens, And then, I kept getting these callbacks. I'm like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. How do I, I'm very grateful. So again, I used these emotions of gratitude and being so genuinely heartfelt thankful for achieving these experiences that they started coming more and sooner and quicker and bigger and bigger. I'm like, wow, I went from like speaking a line to being a background actor to now having these little mini parts to now being a supporting actor to being a lead actor. And, you know, it all stems from that genuine gratitude. I really don't care if I'm famous or not. I kind of like my solitude as a human being. So I'm not one that's okay, big show, this and that, fancy cars, all that. Not That's not who I am. I'm very grounded. I live a very simple life. I drive a pickup truck. I like cars, but you put a Ferrari in front of me, I'd rather have a Camaro. So, you know, I'm just very grateful for where I am and what I've been able to do through the characters that I've played in film. I've played, from a police officer in many different, you know, films because I have that, military type, authoritarian look. I've played an ICE agent. Um, I've played a council member. I've just recently finished a film called Tundi, and I played this really, off the top crazy football coach for a high school. And if you could think of like Rodney Dangerfield from the movie Caddyshack combined with a little bit of Jim Carrey and a little bit of Adam Sandler, that's how I played this character. Totally off the wall. You would like, is that ain't Glenn. But, you know, I'd like to say that in our life as a human being, we're constantly putting on these masks anyways. And when we do so much self examination and reflection, we start to learn how to command our emotions. So acting is nothing more than bringing up these different emotions, putting them together and saying, this is who I'm portraying, right? And when we really think about that, we do this throughout our lifetime. And I'll give you an example. So, for those who are married and don't necessarily like their in-laws, they kind of put on maybe this happy face or this facade, so to speak, when their in-laws come in. Or, when you have your boss, all of a sudden you become like attentive and work oriented and like, yes, sir, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're acting. And acting is really not much more than that. You have an intention of portraying a certain emotional resonance to make someone believe that it is real. It's really that simple. I'm not that talented. I was a fireman. I ran into buildings that were on fire. How smart could I be?
And I noticed we are getting closer to our hour here, and I wanted to make sure to get in how people can get to you and be able to reach you. And the other question was, do you have any retreats coming up?
I do. We have an all male retreat coming up in December, and you have to check my website. So if you go to www.divinephoenixhealing.org, there is a drop down menu that says retreats, and I want to say it's from the 5th to the 8th or the 6th to the 9th of December. And it will be in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. It's an all men's retreat for 4 days. It's about embodying the brotherhood, embodying of who we really are. It's remembering um, the things and the elements that are really important to us as human beings, but also as a man, and just celebrating that. And we will take a trip to El Castillo, which is a very sacred pyramid, and spend a little time there also as part of our retreat, and do a little sacred ceremony and just embody again the frequency and the energies from that specific area, which, 5-star resort. So, the food is off the chain, so to speak. It's such a beautiful setting. And who doesn't want to be somewhere place, that's nice and warm when we get into December when the weather is a little bit cooler, right? So it's a great way to um, set yourself up for just a phenomenal holiday season, to put you in that right mindset and really enjoy what life has to offer. So that is definitely coming up. uh Emery and I are working on something, um loose plans right now, but we will be doing something probably in Nevada sometime in the fall. And of course, another CE5. So if you like the human initiated extraterrestrial contact, it's something that we have kind of thrown around, and we're still between busy schedules trying to anchor that in. And, I do things local here in Connecticut. So if you're in the New England region, or if you're local to Connecticut, I'm on the New York side of Connecticut, it's in that little square. So um, check out my website again, divinephoenixhealing.org, and look at local communities. And I normally put something, when we're going to be doing a community event, and it's, in my background. So you'll get a teaching, you'll get a little ceremony, and we'll do a CE5. So lots of cool stuff.
I'll make sure to
And
post those
that's where you can get a
afterwards
hold
as
of me.
well. Yeah, I'll definitely make sure to post those afterwards as well. And yeah, I wanted to mention thank you to all of our subscribers, and let everybody know that we are starting to get most of our episodes over to Spotify now. So make sure to go over there and check us out. And I wanted to mention a couple of things too. Brett is now, well, he has been doing a couple of extra features to the podcast. He's actually doing AI talks with his AI Aura, and Jackie now has just started out with her frequency mind voyages. And so
Yeah,
we
well,
have
I
some
want to
new
jump
things
on that
coming
one
in.
because I'd done that yesterday, and oh my days, if you need an escape from the 3D realm where you want to activate, wow. I mean, yeah,
Those are
fantastic job there, Jackie. Awesome job. And I would highly recommend check that out because even just the sounds, the frequencies, the guide, the whole thing, I went on a complete journey, and I do love my meditations. Obviously, this has flown by for me. I don't know about you boys, so we're going to have to do another one. But I'm just coming out of left field there. I want to push out an idea for the next one because I really feel this, and I'd like to get into the council more with you next time, Glenn. Maybe more channeling. Can we ask questions while you're channeling? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
So
I know I don't want to. We
let's
haven't
pencil
discussed
this
this.
in our book, a
Go on,
check
sorry.
mark that we will be to continued.
Yeah.
most
Yeah, I think that would be
definitely.
really interesting because I really resonate with what they're saying, and I'd like to go deeper into that and have a conversation, especially as you say, with this chaotic time, things are changing, new things are happening, new ideas, new about the past, man. I mean, there's stuff coming out of Egypt, right? I mean, there's so much going on. So maybe the council could give us some guidance on that if you're up for it, of course, no pressure.
Absolutely. I'd be honored.
Well, thanks,
That'd
man.
be a lot of fun.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And thank you to all of our subscribers too. We really appreciate you, and to our Facebook fans and all of the people over in our Facebook group. You guys are doing awesome. And we want to mention that Simon Berry is actually going to be our group expert over there now. He is awesome at handling things. He has such a kind heart, and he really knows how to talk to people. So we want to show a little appreciation to you, Simon. And yeah, we're also doing I'm doing the Ramblers Vault now, where we'll be doing undisclosed case files, which will be a lot of fun. So we have a lot of new things coming in, and we have a lot of wonderful guests coming in. So we hope that everybody joins us next time. And I will end it with that, saying much love from the round table. Anything you guys want to give off right before we go goodbye?
I just want to thank Glenn for joining us. It was wonderful. If this hour's flown by for me, I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but that's gone quick. So I'm looking
Yeah, that
forward
was
to the next one.
surprising.
And keep being you, Glenn. You know, you share a beautiful message. You're doing great work. And, you know, I love that. I want to change the world. You know, and I often say that often pops out in my mind and out of my mouth a lot. I want to change the world. I want, not just for myself, but for the collective. We can make there's so much potential. We are stuck full of potential. Let's start living it, you know? So thank you for doing that. Scotty and Jackie, thank you. And Ramblers, thanks for joining us. And I hope, and if you did enjoy, you know, just put a like and a subscribe. We'd appreciate that so we can continue to build and make more of these fantastic episodes. So thanks, guys.
Right on, guys. Much love. And thank you so much, Glenn. And we're going to dance on out.
Tune in next time
Get it.
when we'll be sitting down with someone who had a close encounter in 2012 with an alien group. He will be sharing his extraordinary experience. Be sure to click notifications because you'll want to hear this one. Thanks for watching. Keep shining.